Okay, let's get into this because honestly, I just saw something that made me stop and reread it. Thousands of hermit crabs reportedly stolen, like 2,000 to 3,000.
Really astonishing number, yeah.
That's not just a few kids collecting shells on the beach. We're talking industrial scale here.
Absolutely. And the location, Amami City in Kagoshima Prefecture, and the fact that these are protected hermit crabs adds another layer entirely.
Exactly. These aren't your average beach critters. They're Japanese hermit crabs, designated as a national natural treasure. That's like, I don't know, pocketing a piece of a national park?
That designation under Japan's Cultural Properties Protection Act is key. It really elevates this way beyond simple poaching.
Right. So, for this deep dive, we've looked at the news reports covering the arrests, the details, and also some background on, well, why anyone would want so many hermit crabs.
Hmm.
Our mission basically is to figure out what happened, what's behind this weird demand, and what it means for, conservation and the whole exotic pet trade thing.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Where should we start? Maybe with the actual incident?
Yeah, let's set the scene. May 6th, 2025. Amami City. Seems like a normal day until a hotel employee hears something. Odd.
Right, a rustling sound. Coming from suitcases.
Not your typical sound from luggage, I imagine.
Apparently not. And then the hotel manager noticed something else too. These suitcases were really heavy, like surprisingly heavy. And there was a crunching sound.
Crunching. Seriously. Oh, that sounds grim.
Yeah, it does suggest the conditions inside weren't great. And then another guest actually saw what was inside.
And that's when they found them.
That's right. 6 suitcases, packed. About 160 kilograms worth, which they estimate is, somewhere between 2 and 3,000 hermit crabs.
Wow. Just trying to picture that. So the charge they're looking at is serious then.
Oh, definitely. Possessing a natural monument without permission. That falls squarely under the Cultural Properties Protection Act.
So the police are involved now, trying to figure out where they got them, where they were going.
Exactly. And also, were these guys acting alone? Or is this part of something bigger? They haven't said yet if the suspects have admitted to anything.
Okay, so thousands of protected crabs
Yeah.
stuffed into suitcases. It's just bizarre. The immediate question is just why? Why hermit crabs?
Well, the information we have points to demand for them as pets, specifically in China.
As pets. Okay.
Yeah, and there's even a mention on a place called the Hermit Crab Association Forum about ruggies being sold commonly over there.
Ruggies. Is that a specific type?
It likely refers to Conopida rugosus,
Yeah.
which is one of the common land hermit crab species. So it suggests there's already an existing market. People know what these are.
Huh. And isn't there some history here? I think I saw something about a black market in Taiwan previously.
That's right. There was a period where they were heavily collected in Taiwan, which eventually kind of transitioned into ecotourism focused on watching them instead. But it shows that interest has been around for a while.
So maybe that interest just never fully went away. And now, with the exotic pet trend growing in China.
That could certainly fuel it. Exotic pets, in general, have become more popular. And if a particular species, maybe a Japanese one, is seen as rare or unique, well, that can drive up demand and price. Maybe certain sizes or colors are more desirable.
And it's not just for keeping in tanks, is it? Didn't some reports mention they might be used for food, too, in China?
Yes, that's another factor. If they're valued both as pets and potentially for consumption, that broadens the demand base considerably.
Which makes stealing a protected species even more tempting, I guess.
Potentially, yes, especially if the financial rewards are high.
Let's talk about the legal side in Japan. You said they're a national natural monument. What does that actually mean in practice?
It means they have significant protection. You need specific permission from the Commissioner of the Agency for Cultural Affairs just to collect them or move them.
So grabbing thousands without that permission is definitely illegal.
Absolutely. That's the basis for the arrest under the Cultural Properties Protection Act. No permit, no collection. Simple as that.
Okay, but what about in China? If the demand is there, what's their legal status? Are they protected?
That's less clear. China does have wildlife protection laws, of course, but they tend to focus on officially listed endangered species or animals in key ecosystems. We couldn't find any specific mention of land hermit crabs like Conobita on those kinds of lists.
So if they aren't specifically protected in China, does that create a loophole? Could someone legally sell them there even if they were smuggled out of Japan?
Well, legally is tricky. There might still be general regulations about importing wildlife or selling certain animals, but if there isn't explicit protection for the species and there's demand, it does increase the risk of a black market developing or continuing.
So Japanese natural treasures could end up being sold in Chinese pet markets if they aren't protected on that side.
It's a definite possibility and a serious concern. It really highlights the challenge of protecting species when laws and demand differ across borders.
Okay, demand is one thing. Let's talk money, because the price difference here is just staggering. Experts estimate a black market value of around 20,000 yen per crab,
Per crab, yes. It's a surprisingly high figure.
especially when you compare it to what they sell for legally in Japan, right?
Exactly. In the regulated pet market in Japan, you might see them, even larger ones, going for maybe 1,000 to 5,000 yen. On sites like Base, Amazon, Rakuten.
So 5,000 yen legally versus 20,000 yen illegally. That's a huge jump. Why such a big difference?
It really boils down to the difference between legal and illegal markets. Legal sales have overheads permits, regulations, ethical sourcing, hopefully. The black market operates outside that.
So the price reflects the risk.
Partly, yes. The risk of getting caught, the difficulty of smuggling, plus the scarcity factor, especially for protected species. And sometimes just the exotic label itself, the fact that it's illicit, can inflate the price in certain markets.
Okay, let's do the math again then. If it's 2,000 crabs at 20,000 yen each,
That comes out to 40 million yen.
40 million yen, which is what, around 3.6 million US dollars?
Roughly, yes.
Wow, okay. Suddenly the motive becomes crystal clear. That's a massive potential payday.
It's certainly a powerful incentive for undertaking such a risky, illegal operation.
Beyond the crime and the money, though, these aren't just abstract commodities. They're living creatures playing a role in their environment.
Mm.
How important are they ecologically?
They're actually quite important, especially in the ecosystems of Japan's southwestern islands where they live. They're detritivores, meaning they help break down decaying matter, cycling nutrients back into the soil.
So they're like nature's little recyclers?
In a way, yes. They also help control insect populations, aerate the soil with their burrowing, and they're part of the food web themselves. Taking out thousands could definitely have ripple effects.
Effects on other animals or plants?
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Fewer crabs could impact predators that rely on them, or change the rate at which organic matter decomposes, which affects soil health and plant life. It disrupts the balance.
And the natural monument status isn't just about biology, is it? There's a cultural aspect, too.
Absolutely. Designating something a natural monument often reflects its importance to the natural heritage and cultural identity of a place. These crabs are part of what makes Amami unique.
Like that hotel manager said.
Exactly. He highlighted the risk to a rare species in a World Natural Heritage Site and stressed how important protecting Amami's nature is, not just for its own sake, but because it draws tourists and defines the area.
So, wrapping this all up, what are the main things we should take away from this whole, frankly, quite strange incident?
I think the biggest takeaway is the direct line you can draw between illegal wildlife smuggling and consumer demand, especially for exotic pets on an international scale.
And the money involved is a huge driver.
Definitely. Those potential black market prices provide a really strong motive. From a conservation angle, it screams for better cooperation between countries.
Like Japan and China in this case.
Precisely. Better monitoring, stronger enforcement, maybe more alignment on which species need protection. And, of course, there's the consumer side.
Reducing demand.
Yes. People making informed choices, not buying exotic pets if they don't know for sure they were sourced legally and ethically. Avoiding contributing to that demand is crucial.
Man, when we started this, I really didn't expect a story about hermit crab theft to touch on international crime, ecology, economics, cultural heritage.
It's surprising how interconnected things are, isn't it? Even something seemingly small like a hermit crab can be at the center of these complex global issues.
It really is. So maybe here's something for you, the listener, to think about. We've seen the high value placed on these protected hermit crabs on the black market and the damage their removal can cause. What other animals, maybe ones we don't think about much, ones that seem small or insignificant, could be vulnerable to this kind of exploitation? And what more can actually be done proactively to protect them before we end up talking about thousands being stuffed into suitcases?